Welcome to Outside Xtra and to brand new PS5 gameplay footage of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. The game is out from the 12th of November and as Spider-Man fans, we wanted to know how well developers Insomniac have handled our new spider hero Miles. We met Miles in the previous game as he gained his spider abilities, but is he still as lovable now that he's hit the big time? Does he live up to the Miles of Into the Spider-Verse, who is such a good precious boy who we love very much and needs to be protected at all costs?
Were you guys trying to get on the top of my butt-kicking list?
Actually, to be honest, it looks like he can handle himself. The first few hours of the game have convinced us that the game version of Miles lives up to his cinematic and comic book counterparts. And not just because he has a habit of rescuing cats in backpacks.
Time to head home.
Here are 7 times we fell hopelessly in love with Insomniac's take on Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Do you guys take spider plushies?
Oh yeah, they're really popular with the kids. If you've got a gently used one, we'd be happy to take it.
Cool. Let's see what I can do.
Spider-Man needs to be friendly, otherwise he's just the neighbourhood Spider-Man, which is just plain creepy. So when you start up the game and see Miles let the nice lady off the subway car first, you know we've got a good one here. The whole opening sequence establishes what a sweetheart Miles is. Though his appearances in the previous game showed that he was capable and caring, there's something extra adorable about seeing him happily agree to get groceries for his mum on the way home. No one misses out on his altruism. He's even happy to help this random Harlem resident move their couch.
Gracias, chico. De nada.
Meanwhile, I'm still trying to avoid my best mate who's moving house this weekend. Couches are heavy. To put us further to shame in the selflessness stakes, Miles can't stop being wholesome. One, even when he has to thwip off and go save the city rather than get home on time, Miles is sure to let his mum know he'll be late back.
Hey, Mom. Yeah, but the bodega was out of coconut milk.
2, if the fighting goes on so long he can't finish the errands he promised, Miles is a grounded enough guy to have good friends who will make sure his mum still gets her shopping.
Hey, I did that grocery shopping your mom wants, but she's wondering where you are. Your dinner's almost ready.
Crap. Okay, I'll try to wrap this up. Thanks, man.
3, Miles will climb the side of a building in the freezing New York winter to fix the lights and save Christmas.
Come on. It worked.
I, on the other hand, refuse to untangle the fairy lights in my attic. 4, he's taken the time to learn American Sign Language.
You're welcome.
But most ludicrous of all, 5, he'll web-sling across the entirety of Manhattan just so you can get a selfie with him.
Oh my god, thank you! Pose right there.
Gotta run. Hope it turned out okay.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the pic, but you'd best deal with that, Spidey.
Disarmed opponents are far less dangerous, and it's crazy satisfying to knock guys out with their own weapons. Total two.
Alright, yeah. This is dope. Bless Peter Parker.
One of the many things that makes Miles so #relatable is the fact that at heart, he is a total Spider-Man fanboy. When he's not busy admiring street art of his pal and original Spider-Man Peter Parker, he's freaking out at the prospect of embarrassing himself in front of his hero.
Did I miss the convoy?
Miles is reacting exactly how we would if we had to fight alongside iconic do-gooder Spider-Man.
Okay, be cool. Be cool. Helping Spider-Man protect a giant prison convoy? You can handle this. Breathe in, breathe out. Be cool.
Yes, if we were suddenly chucked in at the deep end of having to fight waves and waves of dangerous escaped convicts, we too would want to find an alternative way of dealing with it.
Hey guys, how about we call a timeout? Talk this through? Please? No? Alright then.
Even with OG Spider-Man on his side and treating him like an equal, Miles is overwhelmed in such a way that we can't help but see him and say, "It me."
How are the streets, Spider-Man?
Honestly, kinda terrifying.
It's really cute to see Miles continue to geek out at spider stuff throughout the game
Hollow training? Oh, I am so down.
and get all hyped about adapting it to make it his own.
This holotech is next gen. With the right parts, but I can make it portable.
Aw, bless him.
You're never gonna trust me on a mission like this again.
Yeah, nice work with the helicopter, kid. Real heroic stuff.
Although Peter Parker is happy to rely on Miles and bring him along to all the important spider jobs, it's clear that Miles is still pretty new to the whole superhero gig. Right at the start of the game, Miles' keenness to lend a hand leads to supervillain Rhino escaping from his prison transit. We'd argue Rhino was going to escape anyway, seeing as he's a huge metallic monster and someone thought it was sensible to have him dangled in a crate from a helicopter, and those wires were clearly not strong enough. Little Miles landing on the side to fix them was hardly the main reason for the failure of the mission. Just saying. Still, it is evident that Miles is a fresh-faced newcomer who has to prove himself and train up the various skills we used as Peter in the previous game. One adorable instance of Miles being such a newbie is in his web slinging. Whilst he's extremely graceful in the air, Miles doesn't always stick the landing, sometimes coming to a wobble if he lands at speed, like an Olympic gymnast who knows it was only good enough for bronze. And if you try out any of his more acrobatic moves and you aren't the correct way up when you reach the ground, Miles isn't going to spare your blushes like Peter Parker used to. Yep, instead of automatically self-righting onto his feet like a cat, Miles will land on literally any other part of his body. That is, whichever ones were facing the floor when he got there. Not exactly the best look when you're trying to impress the people you want to save. Ouch. Still, Peter Parker has every faith in him when it comes to the big stuff.
You have a plan? Sort of making it up as I go.
The mark of a true Spider-Man.
Oh my god, Peter! No wonder you're dead in so many alternate universes. It's a comic book thing, don't worry about it.
Dude, put it on. I'll cover you. What? Never seen a guy change clothes in Central Park?
Miles Morales might look silly when he faceplants into the New York tarmac, but he never looks silly because of his wardrobe.
Good.
Like Peter in the previous game, Miles has a bunch of suits to unlock, but even at the start, he has some pretty cool threads. We love the relaxed and practical sporty spider gear, complete with a sensibly warm jacket for New York's December weather and some sweet kicks that we wish we were cool enough to wear. The great responsibility suit Peter gives him is a great twist on the classic look. Finished off with elbow pads, knee pads and sneakers, it gives Miles a professional yet still practical look, perfect for his training. Plus, like Peter's suits previously, it can be modded to make your life easier. Miles is also something of a designer himself, and the suit Peter gives him doesn't match the one on the box, so of course you will eventually get to jump around in Miles' classic black spider suit.
What's up, New York?
Not only that, but later on down the line you can unlock his spray-painted suit from the animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it makes Miles look exactly like he does in the film. And we mean exactly. The Spider-Verse suit even animates Miles to look like he just stepped out of the Oscar-winning movie and into your PlayStation. Developers Insomniac went the whole 9 yards and reduced Miles' frame rate in this suit to match his movements from the film. Don't worry, your brand new PlayStation 5 isn't broken. Plus, in fights, this suit adds the comic book thwonks and pows from the film. And yes, I am getting overexcited about this. Look, you're listening to someone who cried tears of joy multiple times in the cinema, and I am not afraid to admit that.
Need a transmitter around here.
Hey friends, thank you so much for telling people about this podcast. We've jumped the charts from 136 to 87. Wow. Okay, moving.
Not only does Miles have a cool wardrobe, but he also has a positive attitude that Peter Parker could learn from. As Miles covers for Peter while Peter is away on a couple's holiday, Miles identifies some bad habits that Peter has adopted. For one, Spider-Man's quip game isn't quite as light-hearted as it used to be.
Instead of, hey, upgrade, try, oh, like that. Wait, that's not your face?
That's not a flip. That's a straight up burn.
Smarter still, though, is how Miles assesses Peter's listening habits. Upon being gifted a spider suit from Peter, Miles is shocked to learn what's queued up on his predecessor's playlist.
Welcome to Just the Facts with me, your truth-slinging host with the most, J. Jonah Jameson.
What? This Pete said his suits to autoplay Jameson's show? Guys are masochists.
Miles doesn't get why Peter hate listens to a guy who obviously doesn't like him and never will. So Miles does the sensible thing and cuts that toxicity out of his life, going in search of something more positive.
Gotta be something better on. Been hearing good things about this one.
He stumbles across Danica's podcast, The Danicast, a show that is not riddled with conspiracies and tabloid lies, but is very pro-Spider-Man, and it does wonders for his self-worth.
Obviously, we're covering the Spider-Man's incredible takedown of Rhino.
Subscribe. Danicast, new favorite podcast.
Yeah, if there was a pro-Ellen podcast called Ellen's a Great, that's all I would listen to. What's more, she also just gives sound advice.
Thanks for listening, and remember that being overly familiar on social media is not cool.
Take note, literally everyone on Twitter. Miles's big thing is music, not just listening to it, but mixing it. So it's only fitting that the music in this game takes some cues from its protagonist's tastes.
This would be great for the last beat I was working on. I should get back into mixing.
Yeah, it's been a while.
As you go about your business, the epic orchestral hero music is back, but with a different sound. This time the soundtrack has been changed to reflect Miles's musical preferences, adding in some, as the kids say, sick beats. Do the kids say that? I don't know anymore. What this amounts to is a nice collection of lo-fi hip-hop beats to web-sling and beat up baddies to.
I beat up scrawny punks like you every day!
Which gels brilliantly with Miles as a character and is just really, really enjoyable to listen to as you swing around the city. There is also some cool licensed music sprinkled around as well, but we can't play any for you here without getting hit with a copyright strike harder than Miles hitting this guy in the face. But if you were a fan of the Into the Spider-Verse soundtrack, you're probably going to be a fan of the music in this game. Plus, we love the touch at the start where it's revealed that all the music is coming through his headphones. And hey, the menu screen shows us that even Miles isn't immune from covering all his shiny tech with grubby fingerprints. See? Relatable.
Hey, so I want to hear more about your new spider powers.
I think it's some kind of bioelectric discharge. Or supercharged static electricity.
Ooh, we gotta name it. How about venom power? You know, 'cause it stings.
Okay, that's not bad.
Finally, what's new music without new moves? Okay, we're not talking dance moves, but Miles brings plenty of new fighting moves to the party.
Keep it grounded!
Having received training from Peter Parker, Spider-Miles has many of the same moves up his sleeves, because that's where he keeps his web slingers. But Miles discovers he has some new and different abilities as well. One of these is generating orange electricity that shocks baddies with a bioelectric blast, because apparently some real spiders can do this, and now I'm never going to sleep ever again. Miles' friend Ganke dubs this power Venom, which might be confusing for those of us who know that Venom is a character in the series, but honestly, it works for the game. It's another comic book thing, don't worry about it.
Yeah, Genki's right. Venom's a good name.
This helps Spidey Miles deal with the newer enemies, which we won't spoil too much, but let's just say purple and orange doesn't mix very well. Venom abilities can really turn a fight around and make for some incredibly satisfying and cinematic finishes and special attacks. There are even stealthy Venom moves, which can make for some very funny takedowns if you time it right.
One thing time in the raft taught me, how to control a situation. Hear that? A guy like me knows how to control situations.
But even aside from his Venom powers, Miles still has plenty to play with. One of our favourites being hologram fighters that come to help you eliminate crims. The special-est move of all is just how quickly Miles can get across the city when using fast travel on Sony's new PlayStation 5, since the loading screen is now all but gone. Sorry if you enjoyed those old subway ride loading screens, PS5 owners. But if you prefer sitting on trains to swinging dramatically around the city as a superhero, have you considered just playing Train Sim World 2020?
Hang tight, Vector. Almost home.
So those are 7 times Miles Morales made us go heart eyes emoji, and yes, I'm now speaking in emojis. Are you party hat emoji for Miles? Megaphone emoji in the comments below, and subscribe for more spider emoji, man emoji, and PlayStation 5 videos in future. I may have been bitten by a radioactive emoji keyboard. Waving emoji!